But now it's time for us to move on to our featured story of the evening. I used to be a big wrestling fan, and there was a lot of stuff, as we've been talking about tonight, with the Me Too stuff and what's been happening. Vince McMahon comes up. Now, if you haven't watched wrestling, Vince McMahon is the man. He is the person that took the WWF at the time, now it's WWE, the biggest World Wrestling Federation organization, to the highest level. He started WrestleMania. He took it to the mainstream media. He made it entertainment. He made it something that everyone would know and love. And that's our biggest superstars like The Rock. Everyone knows Dwayne Johnson now came from this. Vince McMahon made The Rock. He really did. So now Vince McMahon, he had to step down a while ago as the chairman of the WWE because of what? Me Too stuff. Now Vince McMahon has been gone for not that long, and Vince McMahon is back. So here's what's happening in the world of Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon has returned to the World Wrestling Entertainment Board of Directors to facilitate a potential sale ahead of the company's media rights renewal. WWE has hired JP Morgan to help the company advise on a potential sale, according to people familiar with the matter. JP Morgan declined to comment. A WWE spokesman couldn't immediately be reached for comment. If a deal occurs, it would likely occur in the next 3 to 6 months, said the people who asked not to be named because discussions are private. WWE plans to talk to potential buyers before it makes decisions on TV rights renewal agreements. McMahon's return doesn't affect the current leadership. McMahon's daughter, Stephanie, and former CAA agent Nick Khan are co-CEOs, but it remains unclear what type of role, if any, McMahon would want if WWE sold the company. WWE has told investors that McMahon's role at the company is essential in our ability to create popular characters and creative storylines. Currently, McMahon doesn't have a formal say in the company's creative direction.
Now, okay, we got to talk about this. This is one of those things that, again, takes it back to something that we've been talking about on the show. The Me Too era, right? Now, McMahon was apparently in the 90s sleeping with their superstars or getting them to do sexual favors and then paying them off for millions of dollars. That was the thing that came out. So McMahon had to step down as chairman of WWE. This just happened back in June. He stepped down. There was big controversy. His son-in-law, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque, took over along with his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, and they started running the company. And they said, well, Vince is gone. He's done. This is best for business, as Vince McMahon would say, best for business. And he stepped down. He retired. But now, apparently, Vince has to be here because they're going to sell the company. But they've talked about selling the company before. Now, is this just smoke and mirrors? Sabrina, do you think this is smoke and mirrors so Vince can come back and run his company again? They're saying that he's not going to be in charge of creative. He's just here to help facilitate selling it because he is WWE. Do you think it's smoke and mirrors so he'll become in charge again? Or do you think this is honest, one of those things that they're just bringing him back because they need him to negotiate this stuff to sell the company because it's time for it to leave hands and go to somebody new?
I mean, JP Morgan is facilitating the sale, so I don't know why he would need to be involved. That's weird. Also, his daughter is the CEO. So, I'm sure he's been running the company behind closed doors the whole time anyway. I don't really understand, what is the only, I'm sure he misses the limelight and misses being, at the stupid matches and, making his stupid announcements and going in the ring and, half-ass wrestling with his old friggin' self. So I don't really think, I don't really think it has anything to do with the sale, especially if you've hired JP Morgan to facilitate such a thing. The weird thing is it says that if the company does sell, that he may stay on in some capacity, which I think is super weird after him stepping down. But I guess he's really the only person who has been able to take wrestling to such a notorious level. There were a few separate companies and they've all been gobbled up by him. He is the most successful curator of characters for wrestling. So I guess if someone was buying it, they might want some guidance from him. But again, he could have stayed in the sidelines and had Stephanie do all this shit, and he could just tell her what to do. So I think he just
Yeah.
misses it. I think he just wants to be back out there.
I 100% agree with that. I think that he can't stand not being in charge. The man is 77 years old. Okay. He's 77 years old. And if you look at this picture right now, look at the shape this man's in. Like, he loves the attention. He's like, I work out and I have grapefruits and I'm the man that runs this business. I feel like
He's so gross.
I feel like he can't step aside. And he stepped aside for how long? I mean, since June. That's not that long. And I feel like there were probably conversations where I guarantee he was still working behind the sidelines doing stuff.
For sure.
The fact that they're saying that he might stick on is, again, one of those things that he always wants the power. Vince McMahon. And if you don't know wrestling, I guarantee you've heard the name Vince McMahon before, because he's just so iconic with, again, Sabrina talked about, he bought up ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, which was a huge, huge hardcore company that was extreme. They did anything that throws chairs, tables, barbed wire. A lot of the legends came from there, like Mankind, Mick Foley, when he was Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, and they came to WWE. He also bought WCW, World Championship Wrestling, again, his competition, who are actually in charge of the ratings. They were ahead in the ratings, I should say. They were beating the WWF for a long time. Vince bought them out, and he took everybody together, and he kept buying everybody and then making his own way. He is wrestling. He is. And I think that he cannot hand over those reins to anybody. Now, the Triple H and his daughter have been in charge for a while. I think it's driving him nuts. A part of me thinks that maybe he did step down for a couple months, and it just drove him nuts. Like,
no way.
I'm told that he eats, breathes, shits, sleeps this product. He wants his name and his involvement, his hands, and everything. So the fact that he had to step aside, I think, has been driving him nuts. And maybe he has been involved, but I think he did step aside for a little bit. Now, the fact that he's attached to it to be like still running it maybe creatively afterwards, I think is nuts. What he was doing with these women, I think, is uncalled for. Now, I know those days, I used to watch during those days when these women that were coming forward now saying, like, of course he sexually harassed me. I took a buyout and I was stayed silent, which I think is not right. They should have been loud and clear about that back in the day, and they weren't. And he was allowed to do this. I think his wife knew about it for a long time, and she stayed silent, because you could tell there was a long time where his wife and him were on camera together, and you could tell that she really hated him. She's not that good of an actor. She's not. Trust me.
She's a really nice person. I met her at a catering gig. She's a really nice person.
I've heard that. And I think that he's been behind her back constantly, and he just does what Vince McMahon does, and he never had any kind of ramifications. And now that he finally had some kind of ramifications, which really were nothing, because there's nothing happening really, he's coming back, he's getting his company back, which I think is insane. I really thought he was done. Of course, I love Vince McMahon's character. Him and Austin were amazing back in the day. They're dynamic. Austin would kick the fucking shit out of him and be like, Stone Cold says, I'll whoop your ass, he stopped mud hole in your ass and all that. That shit was great. Him flicking off his boss and stunning him was great. But Vince, I don't think he should be there anymore. I don't think he's connected. I don't think he knows the business like he used to. I think it's changed. I think that Triple H has been doing a good job, actually, trying to bring up some new people and actually bringing back the entertainment and being more connected, bringing up these young guys from NXT and actually making a better product. And the fact is, Vince's name is tarnished. Sabrina, do you really think that his tarnished name can help sell this company? Do you think he's still the man that can help facilitate a sale that needs to be attached to it? Or do you think that Triple H and Stephanie could actually do this on their own? Do you think he's actually hurting the sale of the company?
I mean, it's his company. He's the largest shareholder, regardless of who's running it. He's still the largest shareholder. It's still his company. And I'm surprised he even stepped down at all because of this. He's such an arrogant, narcissistic prick. I can't imagine that he even stepped down for the few months that he did. It was July or something. I mean,
yeah, it was June.
It's been barely any time at all, and he's
like
already
5
has
months,
to get back
not
in
even
there.
half a year, almost half a year, not even half a year.
I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised that he even did it at all. Someone must have told him he had to, in order to save face, and he's just been chomping at the bit to get back. But regardless of whether he's on the board, not on the board, making creative decisions, not making creative decisions, he's the largest shareholder in the company. It's his company. It's his choice to do whatever the fuck he wants. And I'm sure he's been pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes the whole time. I just think he cannot handle not being in the limelight. That's it.
But how does he do it though? With all these kind of cases coming against him, this bad press, like,
It
don't
doesn't
you think
matter.
that he wouldn't just step aside and just be like, I can't do this for the company?
Absolutely not.
At
No,
least
it's
a
his
year.
daughter. His daughter
Right.
is running it. Like, he's just
Well,
call her up on the phone, be like, "Don't put this match on. Put this match on. Don't do this.
yeah,
Do that. Market this way." I mean, there's no way, shape, or plus Stephanie. I mean, honestly, you think she's running that company? Please.
I think Triple H is more than her because I think Triple H
Look,
knows
I'm
the
just
business
saying,
in and out.
he's running the company. Vince McMahon is
Yeah.
running the company. It's his company. He's not going to let anyone else run it. And he can't handle the fact that he's not in the spotlight anymore. So he had to come back. I don't think it has anything to do with the sale or anything else.
I'm going to say Triple H has been running a little bit more though, because he's been hiring a lot of people back that Vince McMahon fired. I mean, Vince McMahon fired a bunch of people and Triple H has been rehiring people left and right. And that also
who's to say
like Bray
that's
Wyatt.
not to make you think that Triple H is running the company? Who's to say that?
It could be Sasha Banks, another one. She was like, Vince apparently, they had a female Sasha Banks left because she was like, I'm not getting paid the same amount as this woman is. And Vince said, you're fired, and it wasn't on TV, but you know what I mean? And so she stepped away from the company for a long time. And as soon as Triple H got in charge, she came back. I don't know. I feel like this could be a combination
Everything about wrestling is contrived. Every single move, every single word, every single stunt, it is all contrived. So for you to sit there and think, no, very, very, very small amount, very contrived,
wrestling's
very
not fake.
It's super fake. JR just said it's all Vince. Thank you, buddy. So it is there, like he stepped down, and Triple H came in. They're trying to make you think that he's not running the company behind the scenes. They're doing he's hiring this person, doing that person. Sasha Banks was very popular too. It could have been like that, popular. People were pissed off that she wasn't there. So then what a perfect time to bring her back. I mean, I'm just saying, it is all contrived. It's all Vince, as GR said. And what did you just say, Matt? Banks didn't come back. She's in New Japan and probably AEW. I don't know enough about wrestling.
I heard she's coming back. If she's not back yet, I heard she signed a contract and she's coming back very shortly because of Triple H. So that's been an ongoing thing. So if she hasn't come back yet, spoiler alert, she's coming back. And you know what? You heard it here first. You heard it here first. That's all I'm saying. You heard it here first. I will say this too, though, about this. I will say this though. This man right here, Vince McMahon, I think, honestly, I think that he cannot handle other people being in charge because Stephanie and Triple H almost stepped away. There was a whole thing going on behind the scenes that said they were going to step away because of this whole
drama.
Because of this whole thing. And then Vince stepped down. I heard it was a power play. Of course, it could be drama, but I heard it was a power play by Triple H and Stephanie, who are a power duo who've been pretty much running the company more and more behind the scenes. And I think they made a power play.
Power duo.
And Vince said, "Okay, I'll step down for now." And they're welcome.
Bullshit.
But again, they made a statement. They made a statement saying that they're welcoming him back just for the transition of power, selling the company. Which again, why would they sell the company? Don't you think Triple H and Stephanie be mad to sell the company? It's like their company now. I mean, they're running it. Why do they want to sell
all
it?
All this shit is bullshit. So you need to stop working yourself up. Calm down.
I'm just saying.
Crap.
I heard this and I had to talk about it because again, I
it's
grew up watching this.
Says.
I love wrestling. It's not been the same for so long since the Attitude Era. Of course it hasn't. I watched for a while after John Cena kicked some ass for a while, got repetitive. Triple H kicked some ass for a while, got repetitive. I just wish it would go back to being better, but of course you don't have the same talent you had before. Just like in the entertainment industry, in the film industry, the actors aren't the same. That's why they're not movie stars anymore what they used to be. There's no big movie stars. There's just TikTok celebrities and Instagram celebrities. And you all get cast based off how many people are following on Instagram, which is bullshit. I'm just saying, not the same, just like that. And can you mute? What's going on, Sabrina, in your background? Yeah, tell your dogs to be quiet. Those are my dogs too, by the way. Anyways, on that note, we have to go. Thank you for being here.
She's letting you know that you're over 1 minute and 11 seconds if you want to be a jerk.
We have to go.
Yes, that's right, Mimi. We're done.
I think that it hasn't been the same. Vince is back. I don't know if it's a good thing. We're going to follow up on this as it continues. I'm actually kind of shocked. I'm not shocked that he didn't want the power back, but I think this is a bad move for the company in general because I don't think it works well. If they're actually trying to sell the company, if they're actually trying to work with new people, I don't think it's a good move because you're going backwards and not forwards. And Vince did a lot. Again, he did a lot. He had the grapefruits to make the company what it is today. But it's a new day. It's a new time. And it's time for a new WWE. Bring the F back. That's what I say.